Yo, what is up YouTube? It is Dylan here. I'm bringing you guys another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the ultimate Smite Susano guide. Now, I've done this a few times, but since the last time I've done this, I think I got a lot better at Smite, and on Susano especially. So, let's get right into it. Before I get into the actual Susano guide itself, I'm going to explain to you what an AA cancel is. So, to understand what an AA cancel is, you need to understand what an auto attack is. An auto attack consists of three parts. It is a wind-up, an action, and a cooldown. The wind-up is before the damage numbers actually proc. So as you can see with Susano, he does a little spin before the damage actually hits. The action phase is the actual damage numbers that pop up and do damage. The cooldown phase is after the numbers hit. As you can see, Susano keeps spinning after he hits the auto attack, after the damage actually goes through. Susano keeps spinning before he hits the next auto attack. This is important to know because an auto attack cancel is basically removing the cooldown on your auto attack with an ability. So instead of having a cooldown for your auto, you instead have an ability that removes the cooldown, and the ability replaces the cooldown. So instead of doing this, you can do this. What are Susano's abilities? Starting with his passive, every single time you hit a character with an ability, of an instance of damage with an ability, you gain a stack. So your one has 3 instances of damage, every single one is going to give him a stack. At 4 stacks, the next ability that you hit within 5 seconds will do bonus damage. What is Susano's first ability? Susano's first ability is one ability that has 3 separate attacks. It has a cone attack, a circle attack, and a dash that also does damage. What is Susano's second ability? Susano's second ability is a cone that does damage and pulls if you hit in the center. What is Susano's third ability? Susano's third ability is a projectile that you throw, and it stops on any first enemy hit. You can activate this ability again to teleport to it, and assuming it hit an enemy, it will also reduce the cooldown down to 10 seconds. What is Susano's ultimate ability? Susano's ultimate ability summons a tornado that pulls enemies towards the center of the tornado, and after a short wind-up, knocks up. It can be fired instantly, or whenever you choose to, by hitting the button again. Now that you know what an auto attack cancel is, I'm going to explain to you the combos for Susano. Now keep in mind, Susano has 3 separate abilities, and with these 3 separate abilities, they have individual combos for themselves, in which you weave them together to make longer combos. all Susano combos are like water. The certain situations that you are in are going to require different combos to actually be used, and some scenarios are going to require no combos to be used at all and just to go for pure abilities. So you need to adapt to what is coming at you, and you need to adapt to the situations. The first tip that I have for you is the Susano Alt Tech. Your Susano Alt has a wind up, and if your abilities are on cooldown, and you ult, you want to wait the charge up so you can get 4 seconds off of your abilities a little bit quicker. So during the charge up of your Susano ult, you want to wait, assuming you have abilities on cooldown, so you can get those abilities back safer, because the Susano ult will be pulling them, and then when you use it, it will knock them up. The second Susano tip that I have for you might seem like a little bit of a contradictory thing. As I've went over in this video, auto attack cancels are almost always useful and almost always to be used. However, with that being said, there are some scenarios where auto attack cancels shouldn't be used. Let's assume that either you're in a weird position, or the enemy team is able to hit you if you commit too much time to a target. You might not want to actually use auto attack cancels, and you might instead just want to do this. Or something similar. There are scenarios where this happens, and as a player, and a Susano player especially, you will become more accustomed to which scenarios require auto attack cancels and which ones don't. The third tip that I have for you is about your jet stream ability. Every time that you use this ability and you hit an enemy, whether it be a minion or a god, it will stick to that enemy. If you teleport to it while it is sticking to an enemy, it will reduce the cooldown to 10 seconds. Now, a 2.8 second cooldown reduction might not seem like a lot. However, when you don't have any cooldown, so early game, it's actually a 6 second reduction. This can be extremely powerful because this ability does an extremely large amount of damage, and it's a movement ability. The fourth Susano tip that I have for you is the Mega Dash. Basically, what this is you use your teleport and your one's dash in combination with each other. So instead of doing this, you instead do this. Now there aren't too many scenarios where this tip is useful, but there are scenarios that exist where this tip can actually save your life, or even maybe get you a kill. So let's say that this Odin bot here is getting away. I can do this. My second to last Susano tip is my Alt Blink Pull combo. It's not really that much of a combo as to just a CC or a way of kind of closing the distance and trying to get a big ultimate late game. So what you do is you ult, then blink, and then use your second ability to pull them into your ult knockup. And basically what this does is it sets up for your ult. So say they're too far away, you blink too, and then they can get hit by your ult because you pull them closer to you. Like so. My final tip that I have for you is to practice. You're not going to learn everything about Susano in one game or just from watching a single video. You're going to have to put the time onto this character to learn how to use him to his max potential. Sorry, there's no ways around it. This is the same with everything. There are no shortcuts. Overall, Susano builds aren't that difficult to actually comprehend. The stats that you want on Susano are power, pen, and cooldown. These three stats are very important to Susano in not only doing damage, but also having abilities up to do damage. There is only really one item that I would say is almost always required on Susano, and that's Hydra's Lament, because of what auto attack canceling does. Every time you use an ability, which is required to auto attack cancel, it makes it so your next auto attack after the ability does increase damage. This is extremely powerful on Susano, and I would say it's to the point where it's almost recommended to get it every single game. What's a baseline build for Susano? I would consider this to be a semi-decent Susano build. You get 30% cooldown with Boomba's Spear, Hydra's Lament, and Erendite. You get a decent amount of flat pen with Crusher and Brawlers, you get anti-heal from Brawlers, and then you get a decent amount of percent pen from Titan's Bane and Boomba's Spear. and, not to mention, you have a very large amount of power. Defense isn't always recommended on Susano, but if there is a item of defense that I would get on Susano, it is Magi's Cloak. Because this character, being that he has many abilities that have multiple iterations, gets completely destroyed by crowd control. And this can negate one crowd control every 70 seconds, which is extremely powerful on Susano. So anyways guys, I just want to say thank you for coming out and watching this. Please be sure, if you liked the video, to like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, dislike and tell me why you didn't like it. But thanks for watching, and get out there and become the SPL Susano player. I love Susano. I just know his damage by heart.
An enemy has been slain. Oh, look at you, you eager beaver. They are having a bad.
The first tip that I have for you is the Susano Ultimate Tech. What? What the fuck do I have written, man? The first tip that I have for Susano is the Smite. What? Ultimate Susano. No. Susano Alt Tech. Yeah.